Good day, viewers. Over the past few weeks, we've seen how Benue people have been massacred. Benue massacred actually everybody. People, houses set ablaze, homes, farmlands were being destroyed. We are here on the street to find out what people think about it. Excuse me, sir. Good morning, sir. Honorable Jasokwe.
You again?
Yes, it's me.
It's like you're stalking me or something.
Of course, I'm not stalking you, sir.
About Nigeria again or something.
About Nigeria, and we have to talk until our government do something about it.
Hey, but you keep talking. Are you sure our talking will make them do anything?
I'm sure one day they are definitely going to listen to our voices.
It seems you're very patriotic. Or it's just because it's your duty.
I love Nigerians. I love my country, Nigeria.
Okay. So what do you want to ask me this time?
Over the past 2 weeks, we've heard about Benue massacre, how farmlands are destroyed, how homes are being set ablaze. Over 100, some sources claim that over 100 people were killed, while some sources claim that 200 villagers were killed. What does the scope and brutality of the recent Yaliwata attack in Guma local government reveal about shifting taxes and perpetrators in the Benue farmer Ada conflict?
Well, is a pity that we still keep, having this kind of situation in this country. It's very sad. Our prayers and thoughts are with the people of that local government and the state generally. But evidently, government has not been doing enough. They have not been doing enough to stop this killing. It's a declaration of war. If anybody, any group of people, whether they are Nigerians or foreigners, we go to any part of Nigeria and kill over or about 200 at once. Even in Ukraine and Russia, you hardly hear killing over 100 at once that are in state of war.
That's pathetic.
So if within Nigeria, any part of Nigeria, they are killing as much as over 100 at once, it's a state of war. So our government has not been doing anything. And that's not a one-off thing. It's not the first time. It's not the second time. This thing has been there for years. Government in, government out. We are on top of the matter. It's a very sad thing. You're talking about changing tactics. It is normal that criminals will adjust their tactics. Government is only on top of the matter, and our security agents, if you can be 2-3 steps ahead of them. Changing tactics is not the issue. What has government been doing to prevent? And I keep asking people, how many perpetrators are currently going through trial that are incarcerated in police custody? How many? You don't hear cases of them being tried or executed. You only, they do it and go scot-free. So the more success criminals record, the more they are emboldened to continue in the perpetration of crime. It's very sad.
So sorry to hear about that, sir. But President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has promised decisive action, while Governor Alia alleged political sponsorship. How credible are these claims? And how swiftly can they lead to the arrest and persecution of these perpetrators? What can you say about it, sir?
Well, anybody can allege anything. The most important thing is they arrest the situation. If it is politically sponsored, what is government doing about it? Who are the sponsors? Who are the suspected sponsors? Let them be named and tried. Let it be thoroughly investigated and proven. All those allegations are meaningless now because they are not going to bring back the lost lives, the farms that have been destroyed. The cost of farm produce are going to go up. We are talking about food insecurity. It will continue unless farmers are secure in their farms. So whether it is political sponsorship or ethnic sponsor, whatever sponsorship it is the responsibility of government to stop the killing. We don't want to know whether it's sponsored or not. Stop the killing. Go after the sponsors. These are terrorists. Every government has a responsibility of first getting the sponsors of terrorists, then you get the terrorists themselves. But if you're not getting the sponsors, then you cannot. So from all indication, it is obvious that the governor doesn't know what to do. He's helpless. The governor is claiming helplessness, and the president promised us that they will do something. Enough of promises. Jonathan promised, Buhari promised, Buhari second time too promised, Tinubu to have started with promises. We want action. When we see the action, we will commend them, because it is not so far. If it is happening in Benue, then it can happen anywhere. That's the same way to be handled. So if we don't speak out and join our voices, our prayers, our thoughts with the people of Benue, who knows when it will cross the river Niger and river Benue and cross into the southern part of the country? It's so sad.
Giving more calls for state and zonal policy and community early warning system. What urgent reforms do you think Nigeria need? What urgent reforms are needed in Nigerian security system? Are urgently needed in Benue. What can you say about it, sir?
I think our National Assembly is not a serious setup presently. I'm not apologizing for that. This 10th National Assembly. Because if you're talking about community policing, you're talking about state police. I've seen the way they expedited action on bills sponsored by the executive. For instance, the state of emergency in River State. They have passed the thing. You know, they didn't even let it go through the normal routine debates. They just passed it. So, what can be more urgent than something that will save the lives of the people? But I've noticed that our leaders are more interested in political correctness than really doing the work they were given the mandate to do. So they are playing politics with the lives of the people. You know, any institution of government can be subjected to abuse, but nonetheless, if there is need for it, we still have to create them. There is urgent need for community policing. There is urgent need for state police. Any other debate, whether what the IGP is saying, those are just political statements. Whatever we need to do to protect lives and property, I will throw this to you. If the son of a prominent senator or a member of the federal executive or a relative of the president is attacked or become a victim of any of this insecurity, do you think it will be handled like this? It won't. But because these are unknown farmers, these are grassroots people, members of the masses, they are treated in Nigeria. That's how they are treating it. But the truth is, it's getting closer. It's getting closer. Our elected officials, most of them cannot only ride on bulletproof cars. It's getting closer. Most of them go about with 2, 3, 4 policemen. It's getting closer. Most of them have high fences with security wires around their fences. It's getting closer. It's getting closer. If they don't do anything, your boss will say, Orunwo Boni. There's nowhere to hide for anybody. It's getting closer.
Thank you, sir. In what way do you think terrorism and political complexity are fueling these cases?
This case itself is terrorism, because terrorism is anything that causes fear, because terror is fear. Anything you do to perpetrate fear in people is terrorism. So if I just look at you now, I just shout on you, I'm terrorizing you. Yes. So you have it in different forms. So these ones, they go to farms, and we have seen from reports that the aim of this particular machination is to displace them and now settle there. So if me, a bloody civilian, have known enough to that point, then government and our security agents, you have enough intelligence to be able to prevent and stop this carnage. Then generally in Nigeria as an entity is a very complex nation. We are very complex. It's a very complex nation. So whoever wants to rule in Nigeria, you must be prepared to tackle the complexity and solve our myriad of problems. So once you become the president of Nigeria, you should know that you are going to have a lot of sleepless nights, particularly on the issue of security and on the issue of insecurity and on the issue of poverty. How do you bring your people out of poverty? So if you have this large number of the population living below the poverty line, then you should know that there is every high tendency for crime. There's every high tendency of crime. And it's a situation where your elected leaders too, they live in opulence and they openly display it. The gap between the haves and the have not is so wide, and everybody wants to have. So even the person that does not qualify, even the person that is not learned, that does not have any vocational training, wants to have, and they will do everything they can to have. So you still have insecurity, very high level of insecurity when you have high level of unemployment among the youths. So government need to look at it holistically and put a lasting solution in place. This not all these 25,000 naira or 30,000 naira they are disputing about. They are not enough to take people out of poverty. And as long as the gap between the haves and the have-nots are widening, we still continue to have problems in this country. On the terrorism part of it, these people are terrorists. These people, they are challenging the territorial integrity of this country. And I don't think government need to negotiate with them. Wipe them out. All these political sponsorship, they are just, flimsy excuses. They are terrorizing our territorial integrity. You wipe them out. But we don't have cases of repeated success in the fight against terrorism and insurgency in this country. That's why it will continue like that.
Thank you very much, sir. You just said they should wipe them out. Meanwhile, there are some reports that actually said some political governments, some political sponsors are backing up these Fulani men that we are talking about. What can you say about that, sir?
That's the same thing. The governor alleged that it's political sponsorship. That's what he meant by that some people are backing them. Who are the people? Name them. But because I said earlier that government, our leaders are more interested in political correctness, they themselves are playing politics with it. That's why they cannot mention those who are involved in the sponsorship. You keep hearing that some people are sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria. Mention their names, prosecute them. Nothing. So because they want to win the next election, they don't really care about the present and the next generation as long as they remain in power. So it's the political correctness that is not making them face these challenges with the kind of urgency that it requires.
Thank you very much, sir. Given the recurring and displacement in Benue, what are the strategies that you think that can prevent the intercommunal bloodshed in Benue? What strategies do you think that can be put in place to stop, to protect our Benue agricultural zones and to prevent intercommunal bloodshed?
Intercommunal bloodshed is a very deep thing, and in Benue and Plateau states, these things have been existing for long. It is also related to these farmer headers clashes. There is a need for government to have a kind of serious intervention in those areas. Just like when government was going to treat the issue of South militants, there will be continuous meeting upon meeting with the leaders, community leaders, the traditional rulers. Then you'll be able to come to an agreement and a kind of compromise so that boundary disputes will be put to rest. But everything still boils down to survival. Some of these people, they just want to survive, and their means of survival is their farms. So if you encroach on their farms, whether you are right or not, they want to know, because you are threatening their lives. But government has a lot of work to do, and they don't seem to realize it yet. That's where the problem is. You have used me so much. Oh.
No,
I'm so thirsty.
no, really, sorry, sir.
I'm even wondering if I have saliva left in my mouth.
I'm so sorry about that, sir. Okay, lastly, before we go, how Benue being the Nigerian food basket and this violence keeps occurring. Farmers are being killed, their homes have been set ablaze. How is this going to affect the agricultural sector? And what are the microeconomic risks that are involved? If this violence keep continuing, if it keeps persistent, if it keeps continuing, if it's persistent and it's still going forward, how is this going to affect our economic in Nigeria?
Well, it's already affecting it. It's already affecting it. When there were violence in the south, bombing the pipelines, and government moved swiftly because our revenue is directly connected to that area. Now, food security in Nigeria is also directly connected to middle belt generally, not only Benue. But government is not treating it with the urgency that it requires. That's why when farmers can't go to their farms, then there will be shortage of food. When there is consistent shortage of food, the prices of food farm products will go up because there will be more demand than the supply. So once that happens, the prices of food items will go up. When they go up, people will suffer more. People will not be able to afford them. So there will be food insecurity. The government is not treating it with the urgency that it requires. Because if farmers are not secure in their farms, then there will be no food production. And once you have breakage in the food chain, there will be problems eventually.
Thank you very much, sir. What would be your advice to the government regarding the lives and property? If people keep getting killed, over 200 villagers are being killed in Benue. If people keep getting killed, and government has failed in their responsibility to protect their lives and property, what do you think people will resort to? What would be your advice to the government?
Nigeria, you said lastly the other time. Now you're still asking me.
So sorry about that.
You always ask me about our advice for government. I told you, government is not interested in our advice. So don't use the word advice. Maybe just my opinion. Nobody, I can say my opinion anyhow I want it. But advise them. They have more than enough special advisors and senior special advisors. How many of the advices are they following? Government, Nigeria is a funny state. You understand? But sincerely, what I think that they should do is just that declare a state of emergency in those local governments, to forestall any other killing and boost the confidence of the local people there so that they can freely move. They can also go to their farms. Once they're able to restore that, then they now look at a bigger picture of how to stop any kind of reoccurrence generally in the northern part of this country. Once they do that, everybody will sigh for relief. But when the news carry tomorrow that today that 50 people killed in Benue, tomorrow 100 people killed in Plateau State, next tomorrow Taraba 150 people killed, what do you think the impression people outside Nigeria will have about Nigeria? That is every day that they are killing themselves in Nigeria. You understand? So that's why we are crying that government should give us state police and also encourage community policing. Crimes will continue for as long as criminals are successful committing crime.
If governor now failed to perform their sole responsibility, what do you think the citizen will result in doing?
In fact, I was going to complain that you're still going to ask me another question. I will show you something now. You see? You see this? Don't run away.
Because I'm scared.
Don't be scared. Look at this. It will get to a point that Nigerians will resort to self-help. If government doesn't protect Nigerians, Nigerians will resort to self-help. You understand? So for government to prevent Nigerians resulting to self-help, government must move swiftly to stop all this killing. Every Nigerian has a right to protect he or herself, himself or herself. So government must protect us. If government cannot protect us, the same way we are providing power supply for ourselves, providing water supply for ourselves, providing security for our homes, we will go a step further to also do what? We harm ourselves with firearms to protect. It's not easy for this country. You see me inside suit. It's because it's mic you're bringing. If it's something else, I was I'm prepared. How far? If you see a pastor, show them and they are making noise. It get to a point that every Nigerian is don't come too close. So you are trespassing already. See, I have this, like they do in the US. But it will lead to abuse. The government has a bigger responsibility of making sure that you have provided enough security to be able to allege or accuse anybody that is trying to protect himself.
Thank you very much, sir. That will be all. If government failed to protect us, citizens are going to result into protecting themselves. This is our call. This is a wake up call to our government to rise up into action to protect the lives and property of the people. Thank you.